A lot of researching, buddy.
Yep. And so we're starting a new week here. This is the week of February 13th. It's Monday. And we're taking a look at a picture that you took, I think, in Colorado, right, over the weekend?
No. Actually, this is from a friend of mine who lives south of where I live.
Okay.
This is more down in the Sun Valley.
All right, great.
So she sent a number of photos, but there were two in particular that really got my attention, Steve. The first one is this one here. Looks completely innocuous, right? Other than the fact that we got the neon, pastel clouds. Weird
light of the sun that we see every day now, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, this is showing up all over the place.
Yeah.
But Steve, what I actually did, let me get this a little further down the road, was, so here we go. All I did here was that this is called Super Punch.
Mm-hmm.
It's a filter you can use, and it will bring a lot of times out certain features that we just don't see. And where I'm pointing my cursor at on this, there's an object right there now you're going to see it. This is now in an infrared filter. Can you see the object? It's right here.
Yeah, I was going to say it was like the 10, 11,
right there.
Yeah, 10, 11 o'clock position.
Yeah, and it gets worse. And the thing about it is, you can't see the sun simulator. Now you can. What I did here is that I used what they call a grain filter.
Mm-hmm.
And what graining does is that it brings out the light elements of the background. Steve, they're covering this up, and this is now, I believe, is a shield. I think what we're getting is this shield is following, I think, this object. I am convinced of it. I think they deploy it when this object, I guess, whatever the size of this thing is, to begin to obfuscate it. But you can clearly see that when you pull it out in this filter, it really brings it out. And as you saw, you did not see. You see those rose petals in the first one, and this is again going back into the infrared, and there's the normal picture. You cannot see anything, can you?
No, it's almost like they're bending light to obfuscate things behind it.
Look at this. And now you clearly see whatever this is. Planet, I don't know, it's big. I know it's really big. And I'm beginning to understand. Now, someone wrote me and said, oh, you're trying to claim you first discovered this. Jeff P. did this. Listen, get your head out of your butt. Listen, we're all on a journey of discovery. And doesn't matter what any one person may bring out, whether Steve and I were doing stories on the shield over a year ago. We've all known about it. What we're trying to figure out is how they're doing it, right?
And try to defeat it and see if we can see what's up there.
Yeah. And when you bring it out in here, actually, you begin to see that there's another object right there. So if this is potentially, I don't know, a planet that has moons around it, I don't know, but I know this. We've caught them on this one, and I have another picture. And I'll just leave you. Look at that, Steve. Is that just incredible? And listen, if you folks have these programs to where you can begin to use different filters on photos, this is a way that you can do this. Now, Steve, let me get to the last one. Look at this, my friend. This is the normal photo that was sent. How is that possible? You can't have a lens flare in back of a cloud unless you are up in the atmosphere that you would be above the cloud in order to get the lens flare. And again, we're seeing the distortion very clearly now in these areas. Now, I have said that I have a theory that this is I think argon, potential neon, and I believe also methane. Now, people I've read, well, you can't have methane. Do your homework, folks. Methane is a result of what we're seeing happening in our planet. But look at this, Steve. Is that just not what? Let me just stop it here. Let's just talk about it. Give me your opinion on this.
Well, no, we've seen this manifestation many times. We've done these kind of breakdowns before. None of what you're saying surprises me. And what we're really seeing is light being projected at us and at any type of a convex lens. And that light is being projected on partially on the atmosphere.
Well, I've never seen a photo like this. This is only the reason why I did a video on this. Of all the photos,
what I was referring to is the petals. Yes, absolutely. The uniqueness of this is the fact that we can see now that the petals are behind the cloud.
And this is odd. Someone says, well, it has to be a lens flare because you got to see this down here. Oh, time out. You know, we have said that this is why it gets me. Most people half listen to what is actually being said. As I opened the video up, I said, I would like this to be a lens flare. It would then be able to simply walk away and go, okay, fine. But we're seeing this down here, folks, is a result of this up here. And Steve, look at what's happening here. If you study this, you can really begin to see that these are spears. They're not petals, they're round spears.
Right, and again, going back to Jeff P., who's a friend and a colleague of ours,
yeah,
he would say that the lensing system, and we're just coming up with more evidence to, I think, prove what he's saying, is all about directing what's up there away from your eyes.
Yes.
It's simple magic trick.
Now, I think our object is still up here.
I do too.
Now, but something's going on here. So now this is in the infrared.
Yep.
Look what's happening here.
I know, that was what was bothering me in the visible light spectrum too, is that we had an obfuscation of the light itself.
Yeah. So it's got the same characteristics. So what do you think, as I look at this, are we seeing I guess I'm trying to look this as we look at the globe, where your position is at the point of where you live. That's going to be your perspective of the sky, right?
That's right. It's a field of view.
Right. So if there is, and I'm saying if, in fact, potentially celestial objects out there, well, they're doing a good job of really covering this up, I have to admit.
No, I mean, the more I've looked at this lensing system, and then Wayne, I'll close on a real quick one. We'll just do my pictures in the next segment. This is enough here.
Look at that, Steve.
When we got the balloon flights up above 100,000 feet, we stopped seeing the rose petal and it just became one big, very observable planet-like object. You could see features on it. You could see a hole in it. You know what I'm saying, Wayne?
Yeah. Yep.
And so it stopped being the, kind of the flower petals and became one big red-orange blob that just kind of moved around the screen. And once we got to a certain altitude, when we got out of that angle where it took it out of your field of view, but it was still taking it out of our field of view horizontally.
I agree. And so I'll close it out with this one. So Steve, here what I did. This is, again, using an infrared filter, which is a step down from actually having the real IR. And what I did on here is that I took the gain up and took the saturation up as well. And look what this is actually doing to the clouds. It's just, when I saw this, and here I think is the best, whatever these objects are, Steve, and I think that what may be causing this, I don't know.
Yeah, cut out.
Yeah. And we've been at this a while. So close out and give us your final commentary on this. I'd be curious about this.
No, we've seen that orb with the parent, like almost Jupiter type orb before. Okay. And we've seen it in all different types of shots. And this is just remarkable in the sense that I think that she got a square on view of it where it was like squared up on her. Just that lucky shot where you could just see everything in it because you were square onto it and you could break it down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just to let our viewers know, we'll make this available in another second, but our physicist actually wrote a paper on this.
Right. This is one of the pieces of evidence that was useful in capping our theory on the artificial light source.
Yes, it was. So, Steve, I'll turn it back over to you. You know, there's just so much going on, isn't there?
There really is. And, you know, again, we're going to be covering a lot of intense stuff this week, Wayne. We've got a good lineup for this week, and I can't wait to get through the information with you.
Oh, Steve, I'll tell you, it's just piling up. We got some segments here that